Huda, good morning to you. I mean, we just take a look at the kind of support and the number of people who are being supported during this difficult time as a result of these relief grants. It doesn't seem fair, does it, that it's just simply taken away for those who need it most. And some critics are saying that money's been diverted to businesses who are able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having us. It is important to emphasize the struggle that people in South Africa are having. And government needs to see that through a human rights lens. We've had two calls for an extension which has been granted, but government needs to stop this piecemeal short extensions. And when we have this looming termination at the end of April, while the conditions of why the grant was introduced in the first place is still existing and still will exist for a long time to come, we've come together as a civil society demanding that government extend this grant for at least until March next year, so that they have time to put measures in place to put permanent social assistance framework.
Let's talk about that permanent social assistance framework as well. This is something that not just your organisation, Black Sash, has been calling for, but I think all sectors of society have been calling for a plan of some kind for almost as long as I can remember. And some critics are saying this would have been the ideal time to try and put that into place, yet it still seems very up in the air, doesn't it?
Yes, well, there has been a public announcement supporting the call for basic income for unemployed. It's been very weak in terms of government emphasizing and making that commitment in terms of an implementation plan and timeframes to implement this. Unemployment is increasing. I mean, the pandemic exacerbated the already difficult situation in South Africa, and more so now when you have more unemployment, and especially women have been affected by the pandemic, where informal traders, domestic workers have felt the brunt of this pandemic with unemployment. So where you have a situation where you have only a grant for unemployed, which excludes women who receive the grant on behalf of their children because they are on the SASSA database. This has been an important call to include women who are unemployed but receive the grant on behalf of their children.
I'd like to, if we could, Huda, just bring this down to an everyday reality level. I'm taking a look at the letter that has been written, and the one stat, and there are many, many shocking stats, but if I could just hone in on this one for the moment, that so far the number of households where a child has gone hungry at least once a week has now risen to 16%. There are parents watching this, and I cannot imagine the inability to simply give your child food, but that's where we are.
Yes, no, definitely. And I mean, 350 Rand is very little, but it has provided that lifeline where people have been innovative. Beneficiaries have bought in bulk to make sure that they're able to put food on the table. But without that 350 Rand, people will struggle to survive. Food insecurity is a big challenge at the moment. So besides children going hungry, people can't find other ways of getting an income to put food on the table. And then there's the issue where in terms of beneficiaries have said that if they don't have this lifeline, they may have to turn to crime to be able to put food on the table.
And that is the reality on the ground. We've heard that many, many times as well. It's amazing that difference that 350 Rand makes. So in my final question to you, Huda, before I say goodbye to you, you're addressing this to the highest of the highest officers, the Minister of Social Development. You're addressing this to SASSA, the President and the Minister of Finance. It's this open letter. Have you had any response? What kind of response are you expecting? It's just a few days away till this gets cut off.
Yes, so it's very urgent. And so we're expecting a response next week when we handed over the letter to the acting Director General of the Department of Social Development as well as SASSA. They indicated that they will engage with the Department of Treasury and will revert to us. So they've made that commitment to us, and we look forward to a positive response where they will at least extend the grant until the next financial year, as well as including unemployed women who receive the grant on behalf of their children.
And as always, I wish you all the best in taking this fight to government and supporting those who desperately need the support of your organisations and the others. Huda Abrams-Faker, the Black Sash's National Advocacy Manager, joining us here on ENCA.